So hi everyone, this is Jastic from the Achievement Squad, coming at you with a review of Tiny Tina Wonderlands. Now a big shout out to the guys, so Tom over at 2K for providing us early access on PC. For this, it has been an incredible game. We've racked up some serious hours without even trying. So for the rest of this video, I'm issuing a mild spoiler warning. At this point in time, if you don't want to know what takes place in this early section of the game, look away now. As a heads up, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands drops on March 25th for the price of £60 in the UK for the base game and roughly about $70 for our friends over in the US. Now I'm going to kick this review off with probably my favourite part of the entire game, is the non-stop creativity that it enables. Now historically in the previous Borderlands games you have been limited to a specific set of heads or colour codes or skins for your different characters. However, they've gone down the road of actually following the path of true RPG games such as Skyrim or Fallout or anything else that you might play of this kind of area. You have the ability to completely customize the way your character looks in every aspect. Now, in my world, that is about making the character as ugly as possible, just for the pure sake of the humour side of things. So you can literally go into very fine details, right down to things like the ears, the shape of the eyes, the colours of the hair, the orc-like faces, the noses. They're pretty significant, as you can see. And the creativity that has gone into this aspect of things is great because it really allows you to make the character your own. Now, not only do you have the ability to customize the way the character looks, you also have the ability to pick some preset models that are already in place today that you can just kind of click in and use. And once you're also done creating your character, you'll have the ability to add your own kind of archetype to this. So that's things like such as the village idiot and other kinds of different classes. The customization doesn't just sit there. So the creativity also stems out into the things that you've got like in the backgrounds of your menu screens, such as the different banners and being able to pick different things the way they look and how they kind of feel, which is to an extent the Borderlands have never gone into before, and it is pretty awesome. You also have the ability to customize different statues of yourself and the kind of funky poses, as well as continuing along with the emotes. But the creativity doesn't stop there.
But you're not the only new arrival. A massive skeleton army is sieging the city! Skelly-mans! Skelly-ships! There's bombs raining down!
So Wonderlands does a very good job of following on from Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon Keep. I've seen a lot of comments out on the internet today stating that they believe that this is a reskin of the Borderlands 3 game. However, I would have to greatly disagree with this. Wonderlands is completely its own standalone entity, and it's incorporating everything that they've learned from the Borderlands 3 and continuing along with the playful storylines that exist within the Assault on Dragon Keep DLC we had for Borderlands 2. Now the creativity also stems over into the characters. Now for once we actually have the ability to completely control the skill trees that we actually assign to our character. This completely unlocks a different style of gameplay in every possible way. So this is where the game becomes unlimited, let's say, in that way. Now the different classes that we see, we have the Stabbomancer that we're currently running as right now. The Stabbomancer is a stealth, sneaky kind of style class, and it has something called the Ghost Blade, which is the ability to create a vorpal blade that spins around and hits people out with different melee damage. There is also the skill as well, which is very similar to Flack's Fade Away ability, where you would be able to disappear and go about hitting different critical hits. The Stabbomancer was a class that I struggled to use a little bit in the beginning. However, when you start to combine that with classes like the Brr-zerker, you actually then start to gain a little bit more momentum and kind of stability with this class. It is a little bit squishy to begin with in the beginning. Now if you've ever wondered what it's like to be Thor with the dragon, the Clawbringer class is exactly that class for you. The Clawbringer focuses on fire and lightning orientated damage, as well as having a pet wyvern that comes along and helps you out. Now, as we all know in the Borderlands series, if you've played all the other previous games or if you haven't, any enemy that has a red health bar is susceptibly weak to the fire-based kind of attacks, and anything with a blue bar, which is a ward or a shield as we know them, is susceptible to being damaged quite badly by lightning or shock damage. This makes for a perfect combo for the Clawbringer, as the ability to combine both together can actually take down enemies very quickly. The two key skills for this class, Storm, Dragon, Judgment, which is the one that's going to make you feel like 4, is because you're going to walk around and you're going to throw your hammer around and it is going to create an area of effect which is all lightning orientated. And the other one is called Cleansing Flame, which is a very quick skill to use, which is a direct hit to the ground that gives off a fire nova once you hit the floor, taking down all of the enemies in the area. Now, the Clawbringer was actually becoming one of my favourite classes very quickly, purely because of the damage output that it can do, and it's mixing together two of the key elements that you'll be commonly using throughout most of the game. So, overall, one of my favourite classes. Now, the next class on the list is the Graveborn, and this is the one that I found to be the most overpowered as it could be possibly going. Now, this class is particularly focused on sacrificing your health to do damage, as well as just focusing on dark magic. Now, dark magic is the ability to drain health from other enemies and recuperate yourself back to full health. So the primary action skills will take away a big chunk of your health to do massive damage, and also then afflict the dark magic effect to do the life-stealing aspect of things. However, the downfall to this particular class is what I found out later on in the game. If an enemy resists dark magic ability, you've got no health regeneration, making it a very, very risky class to use. Next on our list we have the Brr-zerker. Now, this one originally I wasn't so sure about when I watched the original trailers. However, once I got into the hang of it, I actually picked it up quite quickly, and it is a class that can actually pack quite a punch. The class itself is focused on doing ice damage and melee damage, and there's a particular ability that comes with this one called Enraged. Once you're enraged, you will actually trigger a bunch of skills that can actually make the character significantly more powerful, as well as giving you back healing abilities. So the Brr-zerker for me actually was one of the ones that I found to be more fun as we went through that, and the two primary skills were very powerful. However, naturally, the closer you are having to do melee to the enemies, the bigger the risk you are from getting a lot of damage, so it also boasts some significant damage resistance as well. And the range skill makes this class an absolute beast. Next on our list we have the Spore Warden. Now, the Spore Warden kind of takes after Zane a little bit in some sense, with focusing on quick fire abilities. So the primary skill that you have is Barrage, which is the first one that you'll unlock, which is a set of ethereal arrows that you'll fire. Once it's fully charged, you actually have the ability to cast this 3 times, and you also have the skill which is called Blizzard. Now, the aim behind this is to actually keep on pumping out as many of the ability damages as you can, so firing out as many arrows as quickly as possible, or triggering the Blizzard ability. The skill tree itself primarily focuses on increasing the ability damage that you could do altogether, so it could actually make a very strong supporting class to some of those with the better abilities. It also comes with a mushroom companion who does not wear any trousers. Now, to me, probably one of the most important classes in this one is the Spellshot. Now, spells are the latest addition, one because you can turn people into a sheep, as you can see, or that is the action skill of the Spellshot. However, grenades in the past in the Borderlands series have been pretty lackluster, and in Borderlands 3, once you hit the higher mayhem level, difficulties weren't particularly great. However, spells have completely conquered that, and they have shown a lot of love for spell casting in this game, and the Spellshot class completely capitalizes on that. So we have something called Ambidextrous, and that's going to allow us to cast 2 spells at once, and when combined with the ability called Spell-weaving, we have the ability to create up to 80% more spell damage on very high hitting spells. I was running this particular Spellshot class with my Graveborn class at the same time, because what I was finding is that I was not able to regenerate my spells fast enough. The Spellshot does exactly that. It helps us to put out more damage, and as well if you're using things like other classes that have lack of healing abilities, it's very, very helpful for using the dark magic abilities and getting out some of that kind of passive healing from casting the spells. However, on its own, this class actually proved to be a bit of a tank Once it got rolling with the ambihextra situation and dual casting and high spell weaving counts, we were able to actually knock out a lot of damage. So as you can see here, we're hitting this boss with the ambihextrous ability and we're taking off massive chunks of health at the same time. The class also focuses on draining a number of bullets to increase more damage and get more stacks of spell weaving. Spell weaving is what drives up the damage of the spells and also the abilities. So keep on knocking out those spells, and it's very, very powerful class. And when used in conjunction with some of the classes that are a little bit, I say, squishier, it can be an absolute saving grace. Now, not only is this to me one of the most creative in the series, it's actually probably one of the most stunning. The actual graphics and the general quality of the whole Wonderlands game is absolutely beautiful and stunning. Now, not only is the game stunning to look at, it is full of a jam-packed campaign with lots of different kind of side quests with an all-star cast to go with it. So Ashley Birch, Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes and Will Arnett all do a great job of actually bouncing off each other very well, with even Will Arnett starting to approach the levels of Handsome Jack S. Kumar but not overstepping the line. However, where the game falls short, the campaign does feel a little bit shorter than the others in the Borderlands series. And I really would like an extra 10 skill points at the start of this game, but I don't know if that's going to happen. However, I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. It is incredibly enjoyable. I strongly recommend that you pick up a copy of this if you're a big fan of the previous Tiny Tina's Attack on Dragon's Keep DLC for Borderlands 2.
Give us a peek.
Now you guys are probably here thinking, Ed, we don't normally come to you guys for reviews, we come to you for achievement hunting. So I'm throwing in this part at the end to make you guys a little bit aware for what I can of what achievements are to come. Now transparently, I actually don't know what the full list of achievements are, and I'm pretty sure that I'd be encroaching on my embargo if I were to reveal any form of information like that. But what I will share with you is that the Wonderlands is completely riddled with collectibles. Things that you can pick up, similar to Borderlands 3, that give you loot, XP, and lots of other kind of different bonuses. There is an absolute metric ton of this kind of stuff. So be ready for having to find a lot of things in all the different small spaces that we've got dotted around the Wonderlands world. And also to top that, there is a lot of endgame content within the Wonderlands. Now, I did mention earlier the campaign wasn't particularly long. However, what comes at the end of it is going to be a serious grind and a lot of hard work if you're looking for that 100% completion. Just to give you a heads up. Anyway, I've been Drastic Ed from the Achievement Squad. If you find this review useful, drop us a like, comment, subscribe, and happy hunting.